Hello, I'm Bob Peters, host of Central Florida Salute. But on Fridays, I'm Airman Bob on 1410 The Q, along with my partner on my right, Colonel Rick Basinger. And today we'll be talking with Reverend Gary Kadow and Station Manager James Floyd for The Q, all about a special project to help out the people in Ukraine. Stand by, and James will join us in a little bit. The reason we're taking this 1 second is because we are filming this for Central Florida Salute YouTube, because Central Florida Salute YouTube and The Q with my good friend James Floyd, we want to spread the message about relief for the people in overseas. And the man who's going to be doing that, you know him very well.
I do.
I knew you feel like me. We need to do something, do we not?
Sure, absolutely.
We do indeed.
Well, I was excited when you told me that he was going to come in and we were going to talk about what his plan is. So please, got a few minutes, tell us what the plan is.
Well, let me do that. Actually, what we're calling this particular project is we're calling it the Ukrainian Underground Railroad of Relief. So
Nice.
this came about. I've been talking to some folks that are in the Ukrainian Catholic Church, and they told me about the plight over there. And one of the things that I don't think people realize, there's a lot of aid being provided to the Ukrainians once they leave Ukraine, and they're going into Poland and Hungary and Romania. All the major agencies are there, from the Red Cross across the whole stream, providing what they need to try and get through this thing. But there's a lot of them on the line still fighting the Russians in Ukraine that are not leaving, and families have stayed with them. They're in a condition now where they literally have no food, no water. They're running out of just about everything. They're fighting hard. I think you saw it on the news the other day. So I thought about it, and I figured there's got to be some way we can get funds into them and what they need to survive. And in talking to a priest at a Ukrainian church here in Florida, we came up with the concept of setting up what we're calling the Underground Railroad, where if we collect funds now for the Ukrainian people, they would then go to a church here in Florida, to a church in another country bordering on. We can't talk about it because of fear of reprisals, obviously, from the Russians. And then the hierarchy of that church will get it into the Ukraine. And that can be distributed directly to the people. And it works flawlessly. We've already delivered the first check. It's already gotten there in less than 6 days and in the hands of the people. So we kept this thing going. I put a couple articles out online, talked to a few people, and it really caught on. So we're getting a lot of people participating, but we need more.
How does somebody reach out to you?
Well, the way to do it, SOS is kind of the clearinghouse for all this now for the Ukrainian effort. So if people want to support it, they can write a check to Project SOS, the same as they would normally do. But in the memo line on their check, put Ukrainian relief on there, so we know exactly where you want that to go.
And it goes exactly where you send it.
Totally separate account. It will go right to the people in the Ukraine that are still within that country. So if you make it out to SOS, you would mail it to Project SOS.
Correct. Or they could actually drop a check here if they wanted. We'll be happy to get it to you.
That would be wonderful. That would be great. But if they do want to mail it, it's 2412 Due West Drive. It's 2 words, Duewest Drive. The Villages, Florida, 32162. That'll go directly to me. I then will take that. We accumulate it. When we get enough, we get 1 check, and then we put it through what we're calling a railroad, and it works.
I love it.
The Underground Railroad.
That's cool. Underground Railroad, yep.
Hey, Gary, I've known you for a long time, and then for the people who don't know Gary, Reverend Gary Kadow, he has been involved for at least 12, 13 years, supporting our troops and supporting all the different charities that involve, students, underage
scholarships,
military families,
poverty,
the forest and everything. And you are a not-for-profit, so if somebody does write a check,
it is tax deductible as long as it's payable to Project SOS.
Okay.
So they can, if they take a write-off and they itemize, they can take whatever they do according to their tax conditions, of course.
You have a couple of photos you wanted to show me. Can we put these on the air or no?
We can, yeah. Actually, what these are, when we took our first check down.
Turn it so the camera over there can catch it.
This is the Ukrainian priest. This is Father Mikhail, which was St. Andrew's, a Ukrainian Catholic Church. He is the starting point for the railroad. He's the engineer up here working with me. His administrative person who handles funding is the one that you see on the left, who is very, very good at what he does, and he's doing a great job. The church itself is very small. If you have not seen a Ukrainian Catholic church, this is pretty much what it looks like. It's a very, very small church, a very poor church. So what we're doing right now is a huge, huge step for them, and they've done a magnificent job. The inside chapel is a little different than we're used to, and this is Father Coots in the sanctuary of the church. The day he receives the check. If you notice, he's holding in his hand. He would not set that down for the love of anything. So it's going well. A little slow to start, but we're getting there. We've raised a pretty good amount of money so far, just about $15,000. $10,000 has already been distributed over there. So we're looking to keep that pipeline going. The need is desperate. I don't think I have to tell you that. We see it on TV. Obviously, Mr. Putin has no heart whatsoever for anyone, because I heard the other day they actually rocketed one of the maternity hospitals over there that held expectant mothers and infants and killed a great many of them. Those are the kind of things that the Russian people are not hearing about, the brutality of what this man is doing.
Yeah.
So we figured it's time to step up to the plate. We've done it before with our own veterans. I have had people say to me, how come SOS is helping the Ukrainian military when really you're a U.S. veteran military? Well, we are. That is our mission, to help our U.S. military living in poverty. But we also look at military as anyone who will stand up for liberty and freedom to fight for the defense of their country. And certainly in the Ukraine, they're doing that. So at this point, I look at all the military as the same in the Ukraine and our military. They all have a common enemy, which we do too, which is Russia, and always has been, whether you like to talk about it or not. And they're standing up to literally save lives in their country and continue to have freedom and liberty. And we can't argue any of that. I'll support that 150%.
Well, I'm so glad to have a location, somebody I trust. I've, made donations before, and know that I can write a check through your organization and know that it'll get there. And
Right.
So I've been kind of waiting to find out somebody that I could, really knew where I was going.
Well, two things will happen. One, when your check comes back again, if it goes through clearing, there'll be a stamp on the back, so you actually see it went to Project SOS, support our soldiers.
I have no doubt.
With our numbers, and likewise, everybody that contributes, no matter how large or how small, gets a letter of thanks from Project SOS, personally signed. They're not a printed letter. I sign every single
I know.
one. I write notes on
I've seen them before.
as you well know, because I'm so appreciative of the help that we get from our military. And the same thing holds true for our Ukrainian military. They are a very, very courageous group, and just incredible. I think this man bit off a lot more than he can chew when he took on Ukraine, because they are not going to give in. They will never surrender. I know that.
You know, there's Colonel Basinger is with the National Guard. He was with the Guard.
I do.
And we have quite a few guards overseas, do we not?
Yes, there was 160 of them were in Ukraine, training the Ukrainian army until about a week before they invaded. And now they've moved them out to somewhere in Germany, and they've spread out, and they are working with the units there or higher headquarters with the United States Army. So
That's wonderful.
what a great opportunity for them. And we got good communications with my son-in-law, so we do have an idea what's going on with them.
That's great.
That is wonderful. They need all help they can get over there, believe me. I'm seeing a lot more armaments being delivered too, and boy, they use them well. If you saw those tanks blowing up on the convoy the other day.
We got to put our headphones
Here
back
we go.
on, folks, because we're back on the radio.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. As I said, our mission is to take care of our military, U.S. military, but we also view our military as any military out there who is fighting to maintain freedom and liberty for their people and their country. The Ukrainians, that sums them up in a nutshell. I mean, they are wonderful, wonderful fighters and great families. I've gotten to talk to several priests that are Ukrainian priests that are here now. And we came up with a method how we can help the people that are still in Ukraine that have not left for Poland or Hungary or Romania or wherever. And they're suffering. They don't have food, they don't have water, they're barely getting by, but yet they're on the front line fighting every day. And we've seen that on TV, how hard they fight. So we wondered, how do we get money to them? And we've devised a way that we call affectionately the Ukrainian Underground Railroad. And what it is, it's comprised of clergy like myself, and we have a method where we can get funds from here in Florida to another country bordering on that country. We can't talk about it specifically because they'll shut it down or go after the people involved. And then the people there, in case of whether it's Poland, whether homeless, hungry, whatever, they can get the money directly into the Ukrainian people in Ukraine directly. So it goes right into their hands. We've already had the first check over there, and we're still looking to send more because they need all the help that they can get. So it's worked out very, very well, and the priests and the bishops involved and so forth, you don't have to worry about them because they love that country dearly, and they're really helping in a great way at their own personal risk and their own peril. So it works. It works. Yeah, if they write a check, it does go through Project SOS. That way they can take a write-off depending what their income tax situation is. We then take that and send it direct. But on the check, in the lower left-hand corner, there's always a memo line. Write Ukrainian relief on there, or Ukraine relief. That will go into a separate account, strictly used to go directly to the Ukrainian people. The address you send it to is Project SOS, 2412 Due West Drive. It's spelled D-U-E, one word, W-E-S-T, second. And that's the Villages, Florida, 32162. You will get a letter acknowledging your donation. Your check will come back with a stamp on the back with our account number and our name for tax purposes. Thank you.
I was telling Gary, I was very happy to have a location where I knew where the money would go, and I knew who was involved, and there was no doubt in my mind that that's where the money would end up and the best use. So, and yes, he sends you a letter every time you make any donation to Project SOS.
We are thankful for anything we get, believe me.
He's an amazing man. You know, I've known him for like 13 years now.
Yeah, we're so blessed to have him to stop by.
Yeah, and I knew when I heard about this war, and I knew Project SOS, what they did.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
And I said, I knew he was going to get involved somehow. You know, somehow Reverend Kadow will be involved in trying to help these people, and I'm happy to put something out there on my YouTube channel to get you some more help because, you know, it's hard to believe these men and some women are sending their families away and their children away, and they're going to stay there and fight to the end. You know, and this coward attacked a country that he had no business attacking, but it's all about greed, I guess. And it's not a political thing. We're not here talking Republican or Democrat. We're talking about people.
That's great.
And we need to help.
Yeah. No, tell us. Oh, man, I went right over my head. Sorry about that. Yeah. I'll tell you what, this came about the minute I heard the name Putin and the Russians. They did it. I had to do something because that man has no soul whatsoever. True.
Well, I'd like to thank James Floyd for the opportunity to come in on the radio station here and talk about this project, and I really hope we can support Gary Kadow and his group and Project SOS, and it's been great being here again on every Friday at 10 to 11 on 1410 The Q. My partner, Rick Basinger, and I, and it's time to say goodbye, so this is how we do it. To all our veterans out there, active military and their families, we salute you for all you do. Till next time.